VinWonders Phu Quoc. Reimagined in 2019 with a significant expansion in 4 new roller coasters, VinWonders Phu Quoc has become one of the leading parks in Southeast Asia. A total of 5 roller coasters may not seem like a lot, but it is near the top in terms of quantity of coasters in the Southeast Asia region. Furthermore, the uniqueness of a family boomerang and intimate surf rider made every one of these coasters crack my top 25 Southeast Asian bucket list coasters. Technically, Eagle Warrior was ranked 26 on that list, but I misranked it since I had not seen any of its theming while making my list. But does this quality collection of coasters make VinWonders a park worth seeking out? Find out in this review of VinWonders Phu Quoc in Vietnam. Originally, VinWonders Phu Quoc opened as VinPearl Land in 2014. Other VinPearl lands, now VinWonders as well, exist across Vietnam, and VinPearl is mainly focused on building family-friendly resorts in high tourist destinations. Phu Quoc Island, as the premier vacation island in Vietnam, is a logical place for VinPearl to place many resorts, and they have a few, including the VinPearl Spa and Resort where I stayed at on my visit. Originally, VinPearl Land was meant as a small complement to the hotels, had a modest-sized area, and 2 family coasters, a Vekoma Junior coaster called Ocean Train Coaster, and a family dolphin coaster which was relocated to the new section of the park as Spartan Race. Then, a massive decision to invest further in building a VinPearl complex was made, and the result for the amusement park fans was a massive expansion right next to VinPearl Land in Phu Quoc. This allowed the park to add a massive water park, a large, well-themed fantasy land, a massive and incredible aquarium, and a solid thrill section with a few coasters and a unique mix of rides. Wrath of Zeus, the headlining coaster, was actually intended for a VinPearl park located around Ho Chi Minh City, former Saigon, but when the park wasn't built, it was relocated to VinPearl's latest flagship property. The investment goes beyond just VinWonders, though. Although the nearby VinPearl Safari looks like it hasn't received massive new expansions, GrandWorld looks like a blossoming shopping plaza that is connected via shuttle bus to the other places within this VinPearl complex. If you're looking on Google Maps for a cheap hotel just south of VinWonders, this will be within the GrandWorld complex, and will have free shuttles to VinWonders. However, the shuttles leaving GrandWorld will stop at the Safari first, so it can take upwards to 30 minutes riding these shuttles, which is really unfortunate for guests staying at one of the VinPearl properties. I stayed on property assuming easy access to the park, only to find 30 to 40 minute shuttles to the parks, and shuttles that only ran every 30 minutes, making missing a shuttle a significant impact to one's day. VinPearl Land, it appears, used to have a back entrance from the resort, as well as a main gate within walking distance of the resorts. So I do hope this is remedied for the resort guests in the future. Due to the counterclockwise path of the shuttles, hotels north of VinWonders would have a direct path to VinWonders itself, and would be easier to go back to at night since the safari is closed by the evening. I would suggest staying at GrandWorld though, as you will likely want to head to GrandWorld at the end of the evening anyways to get dinner after VinWonders closes, and this area looks to have the cheapest hotels in the area. The shuttle network does connect down to Dong Dung as well, so even if you're staying in the main city on Phu Quoc Island, you can still catch a free shuttle up to the north part of the island. Alternatively, a Grab, Southeast Asia's version of Uber, from VinWonders to Dong Dong will cost about 300,000 Vietnamese dong, or $13 each way. Many nicer hotels, such as the VinPearl properties, will offer airport transportation as an included part of your stay, but they will require a flight number that they will go by to pick you up and drop you off at the airport. This seems to be standard practice across the island. So if you're trying to use this service for multiple hotels on the island, You will need to fudge and pick different inbound or outbound flights that fit your desired times. Though there are late night flights off the island that would really pair well with a second day at VinWonders. As for the park, it is currently divided into 6 areas: the European Streetmosphere, the Water Park, Fantasy World, Mysterious Viking Village, the Seashell, and Adventure World. During my 2 days at the park, I exclusively focused on the dry side, so I can't comment much on the water park. It looks solid, and with the temperature in Vietnam, is a fantastic complement for those seeking to fully max out a day at VinWonders Phu Quoc. The European Streetmosphere is the entrance area, which has a nice collection of shops, including convenience stores with relatively similar prices to what you'd find elsewhere, which was nice since we bought stuff there a few times, including water, which is the cheapest at these places. This entrance plaza is stunning and really gives you the feel of stepping into another world, even if it isn't exactly the Southeast Asian world you might be looking for while in Vietnam. This area includes the castle, which has a shooting dark ride inside it. I'm not the biggest fan of 3D shooting rides, so it wasn't the best, but it is slightly well themed and a nice touch to have something inside the actual castle itself. The star of this area, though, is the Once Show, which happens at 7 p.m. to conclude the day. With a mixture of English and Vietnamese, it is easy for everyone to follow along, and the mix of light, water, and fire effects is truly spectacular. Hustling Games Village is a free included arcade, which is a fun place to stop and get out of the heat, or wait for the One Show to start, so I would make sure not to overlook it. Mysterious Viking Village is a mystery. Why is it its own world? It includes the River Rapids ride, with the strange but consistent theming of the gnome-like Vikings. This River Rapids ride does have more jerking with the turns than usually you would get on such a ride, which made it a bit more exciting than your average River Rapids ride. Plus, there's only one part at the end that will get you wet, so you shouldn't come off soaked. The only thing else here is Thor's Adventure, which is an included zipline and ropes course. It does have a 75 kilogram weight limit, which is restrictive from a Western standpoint, but seems to be a semi-standard weight limit in places around Southeast Asia. Just know heavier guests, like myself, are unable to experience it, though it does look to be an enjoyable attraction. Fantasy World is a well-themed family area. You enter this area in the Amazing Kingdom, which has different storybook characters around this medieval themed area. The walkthrough attraction, Down the Rabbit Hole, gives you a nice experience of being Alice and going through the classic story. Even with limited English within this attraction, it is still easy for a foreigner to understand, and some of the rooms are nice. I particularly liked getting trapped in the room with all the doors. The other ride here is the Thumbelina ride, which was an enjoyable ride for this genre of classic spinning kiddie ride, as you got some really nice hopping on the up and down on the bounces. Hidden Oasis has a nice pirate ship as well as the Grand Aladdin Adventure, which is a moving theater where you stand on a magic carpet and watch an animated Aladdin movie. Ancient Valley is an Egyptian-themed area which is one of the better done themes in Fantasy World. It has the Obelisk of Osiris, which is a spinning family drop tower, and the Temple of Isis, which is a well-themed family play area. Forest of Myths has 2 sections. One is the Python Struggle Slide, which consists of a short and long slide, though as an adult, these were a struggle as you didn't get going very fast inside them. Then you have the Eagle's Nest, which has the elusive coaster credit Eagle Soar Glider. I did not see this coaster operating while I was there, as there were just very few people in the park, and I was unable to ride it myself as it has a restrictive 50 kilogram weight limit, which they do enforce. The map says 75, and the big one at the front of the park says 100, but 50 kilograms is what they will ask you and enforce. Thatch Sands Adventure Trail has a 75 kilogram weight limit, but I was able to experience it by fudging my weight slightly. The swinging back and forth on the suspended cars is absolutely terrific, and this is by far the most exciting and best ride in Fantasy World. Western Frontier is a traditionally themed western section that has Deputy Ranger Patrol, a classic horse-style ride that reminded me a bit too much of a steeplechase coaster, so I enjoyed it a little bit too much. The Sheriff Academy is a free shooting gallery for you to shoot things, and Western Train is a mini train for you to go on once you get that itch to ride a train in this western themed area. Despite being an area for kids and families, the only restrictions I found in this area were the 2 weight limits that I noted from the Eagle's Nest. The Obelisk of Osiris might have a 75 kilogram weight limit, but I was not asked my weight when I rode it. The Seashell is the answer to what is inside the massive turtle, and it is truly one of the better aquariums that you will encounter. Midnight Drifters is the first exhibit near the front that has some stunningly beautiful jellyfish. Sharklantis is the one shark tank that is around the restaurant, so the exhibit isn't the best unless you take the time to eat there. The Aquatic Treasure is the main area of aquariums with a bunch of colorful fish of all types and sizes. The Frozen Place is the land of penguins, and this beats any of the SeaWorld penguin exhibits that I've been to, as the penguins were lively and was way easier to get close to them. Realm of Giants is the huge aquarium you see when you enter, and you get to walk all through it with a beautiful tunnel that lets you look up and all around you. This exhibit is absolutely mind-blowing with its giant size. There's also a kids section set up as a mermaid cove near the end of the aquarium. As a massive newly built aquarium, the Seashell really delivers in being just a fantastic experience. I visit parks seeking out roller coasters and more thrill-style rides, but any coaster enthusiast would be amiss to not spend some time admiring just how terrific this aquarium is. Adventure World is the main section for thrill seekers in this park, which helps thrill seekers that most of these rides are relatively close together. The section has 3 themed areas: Ancient Greece, Wondrous Maya, and South American Forest. Ancient Greece contains 2 roller coasters, which is a treat for anywhere in Southeast Asia. Spartan Race is the relocated flying dolphin coaster that now has a lightly Spartan-themed station while still keeping its dolphin trains. This is the original model of the Vekoma family boomerang, and was actually the 4th family boomerang ever built, when it was originally installed at VinPearl Land. The backwards drop does offer a decent drop feeling, but the forces of going backwards makes this an unpleasant experience, at least for me. The headlining coaster is the Vekoma Firestorm, Wrath of Zeus, having a very solid launch and an elite top hat. This coaster starts off with a bang. The rest is incredibly smooth, with smooth inversions, smooth airtime pops, and an overall solid feel of a coaster. I tend to prefer some shaking as character to a coaster, so the overall smoothness of this seems to be a slight drawback, as it causes many of the elements to just blend together or otherwise not stand out. This is a solid and enjoyable coaster that others may rank even higher than myself, but that just didn't wow me beyond its very terrific first elements. Achilles' Shield is a full Zamperla disco coaster. Despite wanting to ride one of these after riding the traditional half-pipe version at Six Flags Fiesta Texas, this one didn't seem to do much for me, especially over that hill. Icarus Race is a Gerstlauer sky roller, which is a great ride to have in a park with virtually no lines on many days. I spent time hunting everything else around this park, so I did not spend time practicing my flips on this ride. But it is here waiting for you if that's what you would like to do with your time. Wondrous Maya has the Eagle Warrior, which is truly a gem of a coaster. As a 453-meter Vekoma family suspended coaster, this often cloned model is solid, but not something that should be standout special. But given the great queue-line theming and the light display on this indoor coaster, this coaster is something that is truly enjoyable. Zabalba Drop is essentially a large family drop tower, though I got a decent sense of thrills on many of the drops this ride has, so I find it enjoyable and something more parks really should have. Nemesis Spin is a great ride, as well as just an enjoyable ride to watch. It is my first flat ride that I made a separate off-ride video for. This older top spin rides a great cycle in that you'll have solid hang time plus an insane amount of flips while you're coming down. The final part where the ride twists looks really freaky off-ride, but is only more of a rocking back and forth sensation on-ride, which is kind of anticlimactic and disappointing. Though, if it breaks down, I have seen people get wicked hang time on this final section. Wheel of Time is also listed as being in the Maya section, though it is down a path by itself. This giant Ferris wheel lets you see all around the park and nearby areas, with being able to see the old VinPearl land as a treat for amusement park enthusiasts. South American Forest is the final area. Amazon Volcano is the log flume, but I did not get to experience this ride as it was closed on both days that I visited. Jungle Jaguar is a decent Himalaya that switched between really slow and really fast, so it missed that fast speed where you can get dizzy and mainly focused on strong laterals when it was going really fast. Finally, you have Ipanema Skate Ride, which is the fourth traditional 200-meter intimate surf rider in the world. With the lack of crowds I faced at this park, I did have trouble getting this coaster to spin at times, but just going back and forth really helped me enjoy the spikes on this coaster. Operations were decent. On both days that I visited, there were very few people in the park, which made getting off-ride footage of rides difficult. But staff members would rotate between various flat rides, especially some of the thrill rides. So you might have to wait for the nearby ride to finish its cycle before the attendant would come over to start the ride you were queuing for. Given the lack of crowds though, this was more than reasonable. The coasters also always had a full staff, but would wait a few minutes, with a crew of Wrath of Zeus stating 7 minutes between cycles, as well as letting any guests coming through the queue to join the loading train. Though this really only ever occurred with the Eagle Warrior for me. The crew would check to make sure you did not have your cell phone, and all the rides had cubbies where you could easily place your belongings during the loading process. As for food, the best place to get snacks or water would be the convenience stores at the front of the park, since they are the cheapest. I also got a smoothie in the small cafe within the Mayan section of Adventure World, as well as a few snacks up towards the front of the park in places along the European Streetmosphere. Nothing was particularly special, and the park has slightly higher than average food prices for food in Vietnam, though nothing too crazy about these prices. If you're at the park all day, I'd suggest planning some type of snacks or lunch at the park, including eating in the Shark restaurant, and then heading over to GrandWorld in the evening for dinner. The park's hours when I visited were listed as 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. However, this is slightly misleading as the attractions are mainly open 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. The park does indeed open at 9 a.m., though the earliest shuttles from where you're at might arrive slightly after this. With very minimal crowds, rope dropping rides is not a priority, and a few rides may not open until later, just kinda depending. though most things should be open by 10 a.m. So it is a much softer start to a day than one would expect from visiting parks in the United States. Most rides also close around 6 p.m., with only a few rides still open past this time, making it actually difficult to find attractions to ride while waiting around until 7 p.m. for the once show to start. As for the price, there are different options to purchase tickets, which can get confusing. Purchasing tickets to the gate costs 900,000 Vietnam dong, or about 1,300 baht, or 40 US dollars. This is reasonable for an amusement park of this size, but slightly high considering prices for other parks in Southeast Asia. There's also an option to get a combo ticket for around 1,200,000 Vietnam dong with the VinPearl Safari, and is cheaper if you purchase at the Safari, as you would have to do both locations in the same day anyways. This is not the best option if you want to maximize your time at VinWonders, and this park will take a whole day or more if you'd like to do everything. The Safari also wasn't that exciting, as it was really just a big zoo, and is only 600,000 Vietnam dong for a ticket. So if you stay at the VinPearl properties, they likely will include a mission to your choice of the Safari or VinWonders on each day of your stay. This is tentatively stated as a promotion, but does seem to be fairly standard, though I would contact the property before booking to confirm this. You can also purchase the family package that ensures that you get these tickets, though this is likely more expensive than booking a nearby cheap hotel and buying the tickets yourself. Also, if you stay on property, you do not get tickets on the final day of your stay. So, despite paying for the package, I still had to pay for a second day at VinWonders. Overall, how good is VinWonders Phu Quoc? With the theming and depth of attractions, this is one of the best parks in Southeast Asia. Its depth and quality of coasters puts it in the discussion as one of the best parks in the region, and the theming, like many other Vietnam parks, is first class and enjoyable for all seeking to visit a true theme park. It is still missing solid dark rides, as well as a few better coasters to make it truly a world-class destination. But considering the region, this is easily VinWonders' flagship property and a place families and coaster enthusiasts should seek out in the Southeast Asian region. How good does Ratha Zeus look to you? Which themed area is your favorite at this Vietnam amusement park? How enjoyable does Nemesis Spin look? Let me know. And, as always, Captain Crap.
Cảm ơn các bạn đã tham gia cùng chúng tôi với Once, một câu chuyện đầy mê hoặc và hoành tráng.